Alright, disguised. This one is for you. This is the guts important part out of the brushless system. Damn keys. You've got yourself the electronic speed controller, the motor itself, which this one's in the version, well, this should be in the 8K gearbox, or motor mount, whatever. Battery, which if I can find it, I'll include the adapter to Dean's, or I'll just make another Dean's adapter. Or 6mm bullets, or 4mm. Well, I don't have any 4mm bullets, so I'll just do whatever you want me to. Just tell me what you want me to do. And then the servo controller. This is a little packaging that came off of it, and I wired in this, soldered in these wires. I'll include a length of this, so probably about a few feet, so you can be sure to, run the dial wherever you want it to. I think this is like a foot, a little more than a foot, either way. It's soldered on, so I could solder on the other potentiometer later. But anyway, right now the dial is just kind of wherever. Let's just go ahead and set it to full throttle. Right now the ESC is set to what's called the racing mode, which means it has no reverse. So it'll only do forward, one direction, and then stop. The LED indicator light is up here, right at my thumb. You'll see it turn on now, and it'll flash. Flashing green means that your servo, or the throttle, in this case, I'll just call it throttle. It's easier to understand, and I don't have to think about it. Your throttle is set at not zero. You just turn the dial until it stops flashing. Just do it slowly. It's usually about half. There we go. Turned red. Now, that was weird. Anyway, now it's solid red. Let's adjust the throttle up. My battery's almost dead, so I'll just show this. No light means that, no throttle. Turning it back, it shows that it sees that, but it doesn't do anything. Doing a sudden back, as in if you were going to wire it up as pulling the trigger is full throttle, and then letting go of the trigger is 0, it will kick it back and do the stop, so you can stop instead of having it just slow down. See? Anyway, that's just kind of how it is. You should see the light, the indicator light. That's going back. But yeah, you really don't have to pay much attention to it past that. Turning it on stage. This is the packaging that was on it. It's got the dial on it, showing 0 to 0 again. You really don't have to pay attention to it, other than to pay attention to it's not going to focus on it. I know it isn't. Come on, you old bastard. Now, this is a great camera, but it just doesn't work. Well, it's a great camera for a phone. Anyway, this says the top to bottom servo, positive, negative. This wiring, white is the servo signal controller, red is obviously positive, and then black is negative. It's in the middle because across the top would be battery, servo 1, servo 2. Technically a servo controller, so it would need power, but since this is self-powered, you just plug it into servo 1 or servo 2 and call it good. If you wanted to be super mega awesome and pick up a couple speed controllers and a couple brushless motors, you can make, say, a dual 50 cals build. That'd be pretty badass, and then just control it off a one single trigger. But that'd be really overkill. Anyway, The potentiometer, as far as I can see, I know it really won't matter to you because it breaks down to simple playing with it until it works. Because with racing mode on, 0 ranges from here to about there, from what I've seen. The ratings, depending on what you where you're basing your measurements off of, I believe I did it this way. It really doesn't matter. It's kind of like forwards and backwards the same way. In this case, over here, if you took, say, the rightmost pole and the middle pole and measured it out, dialed all the way up. Okay, yeah, now I know what I did. I measured it off of this is right, this is middle, this is left, and then, of course, dialed all the way up. Anyway, dialed all the way up is 0. Dialed about to the middle is 5.5, about 5.5. And then all the way down or off is 9.35, roughly kilo ohms. Doing the other way, at leftmost and center post, at 0, it's 0. At middle, it's about 4.3, and all the way up is about 9.4. And if you simply went left and rightmost, it's 9.4 kilo ohms. So, yeah. Hopefully, I can just get another random potentiometer from the shack and use that. I don't know yet. I haven't gotten that far, but I figured I'd send you this so you can get to thinking on what you want to do. The potentiometer will probably be larger, but not excessively large. Let me know if you want me to get a really small one, or if a bigger one be okay. The smaller ones that I would buy, or I can get, I believe one of these would work. The thing is with these, so you can see, my thumb is about 1 inch wide, and they're really thin, and really, really small on the adjuster, which that's a small flathead. These you can just keep turning. It's a screw type. Instead of, say, negative all the way, or negative to positive, like that one, you would just keep turning it until you got the desired amount. So there would be a lot of turning and tuning, because I believe this one is rated at 10K ohms. Could be 1K, I don't know. I've got to look at the packages. I can't tell offhand, but just by looking at them. So that's something to consider. Whereas with the standard, I don't think I can get one this small either. But the standard style, it's usually pole to pole instead of just to the extremes. If that makes sense. It makes sense to me. Anyway, yeah, that's all I have. So I'll get this looked into. It should be okay to extend this, since we're not really doing that much extreme stuff. It should be fine. But in the end, it's probably best to keep it as close as possible. These, I believe, are they're weird. They're short and fat. I used to have an extra set of those, but I can't find them. If you want, I can take a look at the Hobbytown USA to see if they have any. And I'll just pick a pair up, or a set up for you, and that way you can extend these out if you want. Just let me know. Ask questions and all that jazz. And if anybody else is watching, yay.